Christian Horner was fired as Red Bull team boss with immediate effect. But why? Horner became the youngest team boss with just 31 years in 2005 and built a team which won multiple drivers and constructors championships. And today, he's the longest serving team boss in F1. So why would Red Bull fire him now? Interesting here is the difference in media coverage about this story. While the British media is surprised and talks about a shock sacking, the Austrian media is not so surprised because discussions and talks had been going on for quite a while. So what you hear now might be a bit different from the English-speaking media coverage, but I want to show you the other side. Red Bull is a special team and is structured differently than other F1 teams. First of all, the company was founded by Dietrich Mateschitz with the recipe from Thailand. And the deal was, Mateschitz runs the business and the Thai family stays in the background, but they hold 51%. After being a sponsor for many years, Mateschitz decided to buy the struggling Jaguar F1 team and ask his Austrian friend, race driver and team boss Dr. Helmut Marko for advice. So Mateschitz and Marko were pulling the strings and they needed someone to run the daily business of the F1 team in England. That became Christian Horner. So unlike Toto Wolff, for example, who is not just Mercedes team boss, but also holds 30% of the shares, Horner was just employed to run the F1 team in England. The big decisions for the team and drivers were always made in Austria by Mateschitz and Marko, and Horner often didn't have a say. Key figure at the beginning was the experienced David Coulthard, who convinced his friend Adrian Newey to join the team. Newey was not happy at McLaren because he couldn't influence team decisions. At Red Bull, Horner and Newey could build the team together. They hired talented people and taught their own new generation of engineers. Michael was starting his junior driver program and brought many talented drivers into the team. So all that together formed the extremely successful Red Bull F1 team. Now at the end of 2022, founder Dietrich Mateschitz passed away. His son Mark inherited the 49% and he put 3 new managers in place to control his side of the business. The one responsible for Red Bull sport activities is Oliver Minzlaff. And while this internal restructuring was going on and people needed to get up to speed, Horner tried to increase his power. He had the backing of the Thais with their 51%. He no longer wanted to be just the employed team boss for the daily business, he wanted more. He was asking for shares of the company, but they denied that. He wanted to get rid of Helmut Marko so he can make the decisions for team and drivers. Additionally, he was already CEO of Red Bull Racing, so the British part of the company, and CEO of their engine division, Red Bull Powertrains. And then, at the end of 2023, suddenly this bumpy scandal of misbehavior came up and the Verstappen side said that Horner needs to go. If he stays, he's tearing the team apart. In the end, after an external lawyer assessed the case, Horner was cleared, but it also surfaced that this lawyer wasn't that neutral and connected to the Thai side. So the scandal went quiet but didn't disappear completely. Because of the atmosphere within the team at that time, lots of good staff left and others didn't join. Because Jonathan Wheatley couldn't become team boss at Red Bull, he left to Sauber and could celebrate his first podium there. Because Horner didn't acknowledge Newey as an equal partner, but just as an employed engineer, Newey left, which had significant consequences for their development and the drivability of their car. He is now at Aston Martin, where he's not just an employed engineer, but a shareholder and really part of the team. And then there is Verstappen, probably the best driver on the current grid. Because of him, they could still win the Drivers' Championship last year, although the car development plummeted and they dropped from first to third in the Constructors. We talked about the Verstappen effect before, but the problem is that he can cover problems of the car and needs a certain car behavior, which other drivers are struggling with. So no matter who you put in the seat next to him, they're all struggling and the team is effectively just scoring points with one car. And with that, you cannot win the Constructors' Championship against other teams who score with both cars. So the Verstappen group, which means Max, his father and his manager Vermeulen, are loyal to Helmut Marko and no big friends of Horner. When it was tried to remove Marko, Verstappen said if he goes, I will go as well. And now the car became so bad that even Verstappen is struggling with it and they want things to improve. Verstappen knows that he's the only thing that keeps the team at the front of the field, but he also wants to sit in the best car. For the rule change 2026, it's not certain that Red Bull powertrains with Ford can be competitive right away, but Mercedes, Honda and Ferrari have more experiences with F1 powertrains. So there have been talks with Mercedes, and even the Mercedes management now agreed to have a budget to get Verstappen. At the same time, there are rumors that Verstappen and Toto Wolff are currently both in Sardinia for holidays. In Spielberg 2 weeks ago, the Austrian side and the Thais came together to discuss how to move forward. At the same time, there have been a number of meetings between Verstappen and Minslav in the last 2 weeks, and it seems like Verstappen threatened to go somewhere else if they don't fire Horner. The Thais agreed because it's the last chance to keep Verstappen, and now suddenly it is announced by Red Bull GmbH, so the Austrian side of the business, that Horner is fired with immediate effect. So is this the guarantee now that Verstappen will stay? It's not guaranteed, but the team now did exactly what he wanted. From a Mercedes point of view, it's a hard decision. Do they really want to fire one of their junior drivers although they perform well to make space for Verstappen? Which message does that send within their team? Do they really want to risk to become a one-car team just like Red Bull? So although it would be great to get the best driver off the grid, it has its risks. And if Verstappen cannot get out of his contract easily, it will be very expensive for any team to buy him out. It's another case with Aston Martin. Verstappen could work together with Newey and Honda again, Stroll would pay whatever it costs to get him, and he could either take the seat of Lance Stroll, who doesn't seem too motivated for a long time, or Alonso, who could finish his career there. And the other option is that he stays at Red Bull and hopes for the best. So there's a lot going on at the moment, but it didn't come as a surprise. So what do you think? Was it the right decision to fire Horner now? And will Verstappen stay, or where will he go? Let me know in the comments below and see you at the next video.